Welcome to Law Chat with Girija, my entrepreneur friends. I'm Girija Parka Patel, and I'm a mother, a wife, a daughter, a sister, a businesswoman, a lawyer, and an entrepreneur, just like you. I believe in the power of storytelling and mentorship through stories. Whether 6 months in or 20 years in their journey, entrepreneurs have impactful experiences to share, which are full of mistakes and full of victories. And my goal is to highlight those and to celebrate the diverse narratives and perspectives in the world of entrepreneurship, which inevitably provides motivation, encouragement, and inspiration to our community and to our own journey. So Law Chat's purpose is not just to share the expected conversations about their businesses and journey, but also I want to share and dive deep into their details. Get nosy, get personal, and learn from their pivotal journey and their mistakes, and also, again, their victories. So I'm here to use those moments to inspire and to motivate you on your own journey. And of course, we can't run away from the law. After all, this is Law Chat with Girija. So let's dive in. Hi, everyone. I am so excited for today's episode of Law Chat with Girija. I have a friend that I've known for a few years, Kelly McInturff. She is the owner of Bird and Hyssop. She is a wife, she's a mom of 2 beautiful kiddos, and also she's a community builder, and she's also a woman that is building other people's businesses. And I'm so happy to have her today to share with us her journey and her story, but then also to share with us a little tidbits on how to create a story for yourself and how to integrate that into your business and build a beautiful brand story for your business. So I'm hoping to get some amazing nuggets of information from her. And so without further ado, let's get started. So Kelly, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here, and it's so good to see your face again. I haven't seen you in so long.
It's been a minute. I still didn't understand why people say that, but it's been a minute.
It's been a minute. Yeah. Lots of minutes.
Right? It's like lots of minutes. I don't understand the whole, it's been a minute. Like, that's really quick time. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what that means. Signs of getting old.
I know, right? Yeah.
So welcome. I'm so happy to have you. So I met you for the first time when you had the Entrepreneurial Women of Houston meetups, and they are amazing. They're amazing because awesome women are coming together, having great conversations. And it's just such a great time to like spend time with people who are on the same mindset and mind level. So tell me, I love what you're doing. I love how you're building everybody around you, but also tell me, how did you get into this? Where did your story begin?
Yeah. So my story begins a long time ago.
Once upon a time.
I know, right? Once upon a time, I was born. No, just kidding. We'll speed up a little bit. No, you know what? I love people. I'm a people person. I love hanging out with people. So that's just right off the bat. I love creating communities. And that's why I started the entrepreneurial group. But specifically becoming an entrepreneur, I went to Texas A&M, gig 'em, to plug that. And I know. We still love each other.
UT, yeah.
We still love each other. And I studied marketing. Well, I went in as finance. And I don't know why I thought that would be a good route for me, because that is not my mindset. But quickly realized that marketing was much more in my wheelhouse. And so I switched to that, got out of college, did what the business school told me not to do, which was to work with a small business. They said, go corporate. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know that I want to wear a suit every day. Yeah. So I searched and found a small business, and I started from the bottom. I was answering phones, doing everything but marketing. Now the plus side to that was that I was learning every part of the business. I mean, I was doing payroll, which looking back, I'm like, wow, that anyone trusted me to do payroll was hilarious. But I did everything. I was in all parts of the business, which has really helped me in my entrepreneurial journey, just from having experience with that. So anyway, as the company grew, and, my boss knew that I was a marketing major, and, you know, he knew that that was my goal, was to be in that role. So as we started hiring more people, I was sloughing off more and more of the responsibilities that I didn't like to do.
Yeah.
First off, like payroll, and then moving more and more into marketing. And I love just the strategy that comes with marketing, the thoughtfulness, the kind of getting into people's minds and seeing what resonates with them. I've just always been really interested in that. So kind of moving forward, never thought that I would start my own business. And the guy I worked for was very entrepreneurial. And he said, you know what, like, you should start your own business and we'll be your first client. And I was like, okay. You know, it's like, you don't want to be an employee forever. I was like, okay, sure. So started a business. They were my first client. They were my only client. I basically moved from employee to contractor with them. And so started getting my feet wet in the marketing world, legitimately. And then they connected me with a consultant who I started doing her marketing, and I just kind of started, you know, getting more clients. And how I came into Storybrand, it's a marketing framework that I use with my clients, and they have a certification. So it's a framework based on customer-centric stories. So not necessarily talking about yourself a lot, but talking about your clients and your customers' needs, problems, and how you solve that problem for them. So I found Storybrand, and I loved it. I thought it was mind-blowing and so simple at the same time. And so I was like, wow, I have to get certified in this because I need this for my business, but I know that other businesses could really use, you know, this framework.
Yeah, they can benefit from it. Yeah.
Yeah, they can benefit from it. So I got certified about 3 years ago. It's already been 3 years. That's crazy. But so I've just been plugging along and trying to build a business and, you know, build a community, you know, as well. So.
What a great story. And what a great story of how the building blocks were made for you, but you also recognized those building blocks. So just to rewind a little bit, actually, what I really found interesting was the fact that, I mean, I went to business school too in undergrad at UT and did finance and accounting because it was a good, at least a good foundation to have.
Right.
You know, law doesn't work out. Hey, go to do something in the, you know, corporate world.
Exactly.
But you're right. I know the business school there really pushed the corporate world. And only because like, that was like, I think their gauge of achievement, right? That was their gauge of, you've done really well if you get into the top 5 companies, or, you know, get into the top oil and gas company, whatever. But the idea is that their gauge and the impression that they give to college students, because we are very impressionable at that time, is that getting into one of these schools is the highlight of the start of your career. And also tells you if you have achieved something, right? Like it's almost like this badge of honor. And I also did an internship because we were required to do an internship, which is actually an excellent requirement. So I did all that. But then when I left, I was like, I want to go to law school. Like that was my thing because I already knew I wanted to do that. But for you, it's not like you were going to another school. You decided at that point, I'm going to go work for a small business. So what was it that you were so convicted about, and how did you come to that conviction?
Yeah. So I really was torn between, so I don't want to get into religion, but I'm a Christian, and I was really contemplating doing ministry.
Yeah.
But ministry doesn't, you know, pay very well. So it's like, okay, I have to support myself. So I loved the people side of ministry. I also loved business. And so I was trying to find the middle ground. I didn't really realize that there was this whole small business world. I don't know why. I just always thought of like, you know, I was interviewing with Target and like these big
companies.
These big companies. And it just didn't sit well with me. I don't know why. I was like, I feel like it's too structured for me. Now I love structure, but it was like too, you know, robotic. Yes. As I do the robot, too robotic for me. And then ministry was like too unsure because, you know, I'm like, I don't know how much money I'll make. Can I support myself? And so I was really struggling to find that happy medium. And I just kind of stumbled upon it, you know, with this. It was a local company, small business, still very successful. But the company feel was like a startup because of how few people were working there. So yeah, I think it was just, I didn't feel very authentic going into these interviews with Target and, well, you know, I don't even know what else. I distinctly remember interviewing with Target because I walked out of there like, oh,
yeah, this is not happening.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I just had
so you were listening to your gut. You were listening to your instincts. And honestly, I know you were like, oh, I don't want to bring religion into this, but I think for a lot of people, that is their guiding light. You know, whatever religious path you might follow,
right?
A lot of people use that as a anchor, as a guiding light, as a compass. And so I think it's really integrated in all of our stories in some form or fashion.
You know, and we're people. I mean, we're people running these businesses. So it is a big deal. And I think you need to listen to that. And I think what I was, you know, looking back, I think the culture is changing, the business climate is changing, that entrepreneurship is, you know, it's being recognized as, you're not just saying you're an entrepreneur because you don't have a job, but it's actually being legitimized, you know.
So much. Like my children's school, it's a private school, and they have a diploma in entrepreneurship, and it's a different route than the normal, you know, route. And it's so excellent.
That is
so
cool.
Excellent. And it's like, I think even UT, or I could be wrong, but a lot of different colleges have now made entrepreneurship a degree, because it is like, you know, you're right. When I graduated also, I come from an entrepreneur family, but they're doing really well. So I didn't understand small business per se, like the store on the street. You're just thinking, okay, that's a store on the street, but you never connect like, that's a small business store on the street.
Yeah, exactly.
And, I mean, it's like, it is what it is, right? Because you're just so young, and all you know is the Targets. All you know are the BPs, and all you want to do is get into those. But you're right. Entrepreneurship has such a glory to itself, in the sense of it's not all roses. It's not all, you know, amazingness. But at the same time, it still is so much satisfaction in the ability to put your tears and sweat into something that is yours.
Yeah.
So I love that you listened to your gut. I love that you followed that path and you joined a small business. But what I love even more is that the person that you were working for really encouraged you to start your own business. And I think that's so, I don't know, that's neat, because a lot of people don't like to do that. And so tell me a little bit more about that. Like when he or she was like, hey, start your own business, what were you going through? Were you like, okay, you're crazy? Or yeah, that's a great idea, let's do it.
Yeah. You know, it was kind of both. I had seen the side of creating your own hours. So this particular business is a education company. It's tutoring. So he kind of set all of the tutors that worked with him up as entrepreneurs. He's like, I don't want you to be employees. I'm not a great manager. Like, I don't want to manage you. I just want to essentially take care of all the marketing needs, billing needs, you know, through that. But you forge your own way, all that stuff. So he already had that mindset. So it was really just, I'm a big observer. I observe a lot. And so I was just kind of watching how things worked. And it was like, you know, he's creating his own schedule. You know, he knew that I didn't want to be tied to a desk. And so he was like, here's a cell phone, go work wherever you want. Just answer the cell phone. You know, he's like, get to work. So I had already been kind of experiencing it with the employee setting. And so I think that helped me make that leap of like,
love that.
I can do it, because I've been watching, I've been seeing, experiencing it a little bit. It didn't seem like such a daunting thing.
How old were you back then? Like when you made that leap?
22, 23, I think. Yeah.
That's incredible. At such a young age to make that leap of faith. That's incredible.
It was a little like, Um, so, okay, and it's different. You don't fit inside the box. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to pay for my own insurance. I had to do different things like that, I didn't have a company giving me those benefits. I had to kind of pick and choose what was important to me to go after. So I think it was kind of a right place, right time type of deal. But I'm very fortunate for the experience because it helped me take that leap a little bit more of, that my business setting was already so much like an entrepreneurial.
You already got so much exposure. And I think that's, I don't know, like, I think for a person that is starting a business, sometimes we don't realize that we have to do everything from the ground up.
Yeah.
I mean, everything, right? Everything. I am my secretary. I am my billing. I am everything. And so it happens like that until you start gaining traction and you can start hiring more people out. So if you were to speak to a 22-year-old today, what are some tips or like 3 big tips you would give them for starting their own business?
Oh, yeah. Okay. One, I would say, find what you're really passionate about. And I know this sounds so cliche, but you can't just start a business just to start a business, like, because you'll burn out. I mean, you burn out even when you're passionate about it.
Yeah.
There are just ebbs and flows. So I would say find something that you're really passionate about and that you're really good at. So find those kind of coupling of things. 2, go for it. So try a lot, fail a lot, and readjust a lot.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
That's all kind of clumped into one little thing.
I love that. Yeah.
I think, I think school teaches us that you can't try, that, anything less than perfection is wrong. Because you literally, if you get something, if you get an answer wrong, it's wrong. There's no partial credit usually.
Yeah.
And so you kind of have to retrain your brain. I would say the third piece is retrain your brain. I still struggle with that. I've been realizing that I'm much more of a perfectionist than I thought I was. And I'm a recovering perfectionist. So you have to retrain your mind that the effort is the thing that counts, not the perfection, because it's never.
I love that because you're so right. I think like we are in this little box in school, and I love school. I love it. I still love educating myself. I'm constantly educating myself, but now it's like I've had that experience to know how to implement in a way, because experience is everything, and I think on the job experience really teaches you so much. So those are great 3 tips. I love that. So now a little fast forward and going into what you're doing today. So what is your company's name? It's Bird
and Hyssop Marketing.
And so what do you do in that?
Yeah, so I work with entrepreneurs to create clear marketing messages that resonate with their customers so that they spend less time looking for clients, less time weeding out people that they don't want to work with. So that marketing message will attract the right people who pay what you ask them to pay and repel the people who suck up your time and don't pay you that much or don't pay you what you want or try to bargain with you. So, and then with that clear message, we build a sales funnel, which is a simple sales funnel, just a website, lead generator, which is like a free piece of content that's valuable in exchange for an email, some emails to follow up that lead magnet, and then a nurture email campaign that just, provides, like what you do. You just provide great information every once in a while, weekly, monthly, whatever it is. So I help them get that marketing message and then integrate it into all those areas. So there's a cohesiveness to their brand.
That is amazing. So I know that you work with a lot of moms and the mompreneur.
Yes.
So how did that take place? Because I feel like that's where your niche is. Like that's where, I don't know, I could be wrong, but I feel like that's who your ideal client is and it's sitting right there. Yeah. So how did you, I know I do too, because I'm one too, so I think it's great.
Yeah.
But It's like more power to our community. Anyway,
Yes.
so how did you create that as your niche? And what made you feel like this is the right client for me? I hate to interrupt this awesome conversation, but I have to stop and talk with you about the number one thing I'm asked about by entrepreneurs: contracts. They're vital to any business relationship and to protect your business. But I also know that entrepreneurs, especially when you're starting up, money is tight. But I would never want you to compromise on a strong legal foundation. So enter yourcontractbuddy.com, a website created by me with contract templates created and drafted by me and fellow industry partners. They're ready to use and easy to plug in immediately. And they are not restricted to any specific state. So yourcontractbuddy.com is sponsoring this episode, and you and your listener can get 10% off right now with code LawChat. Yes, you heard me right. 10% off right now with code LawChat. And now back to our awesome conversation.
Yeah, it's really when I became a mom. So I have a 3.5-year-old. She'll be 4 in September. I really can't believe it. Oh, when I became a mom, I don't know. There was something. It was, again, I'm a mom, but I'm in the business world, but not a 9-to-5. And so it's kind of, I was looking for community for myself. And so I was like, you know what? Why don't I just work with moms? We understand the same struggles. Of course, like you were saying, we all have similar struggles. They're just in different clothes, right?
Yeah.
I love that because it's so true. And so moms generally have the same kind of clothes,
Yeah.
if you will, of problems. And so, I thought I would want someone to help me, and I found that help. So why not help them with marketing? Because let's be honest, most people didn't start their business to do marketing.
No.
Unless you start a marketing play,
Yeah.
Same with you. Most people didn't start their business so that they could think about law all the time.
No, it's like literally afterthought.
Exactly. So, I was like, we have a lot to juggle.
Yeah.
And so I would love to help people make a small part of their business less time consuming and more profitable. So,
yeah. So what are some of the challenges you faced when you first became a mom? Because you already had this business prior to becoming a mom. So what are some challenges you faced and how did you overcome them? Through mindset, through action? Like, what did you do?
Yeah. So the first thing that comes to mind is I realized when I'm pregnant and first year of Ava's life, my brain was like fried. Like mom brain is real. And I was struggling because I would sit down to work and I was like, nope, no thoughts are coming to my mind, which was really tough. Especially when I had deadlines to come to get to. So really I had to learn that I had to give myself a break, give myself grace. You just had a baby or you're pregnant, you're growing a human in your body.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like, life is going to go on. People will understand if you say, hey, look, I'm sorry. I don't usually do this. I overshot my, what I thought I could get to you. I need a day or two more. Right. Most people are pretty accommodating. They don't, unless it's just this massive thing that it has to be done on a certain date. People are generally pretty okay with just real life happening, so that was the first thing. I had to give myself grace for not being at my top performance or whatever. I thought I had to be all the things, right? So I had to be at my top performance and growing a baby healthily and
getting all those badges.
Oh yes.
All those badges.
So then when she was born, or when she was getting into, out of the newborn phase, I was fortunate enough to hire a nanny to have help while I worked. And then the mom guilt came. And
it's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
It's so real.
Oh,
all caps, bold, everything.
It is
underlined.
Mom guilt is real, and it's so annoying. And just when you think you've conquered it, like something else pops up. So I had to sit down and look at my life as a mom and say, what am I okay with not doing for my daughter? And what that meant was, for just one example, I don't have to be the one who puts the spoon in her mouth every time. Okay.
Yeah.
The first time that I didn't feed her, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a horrible mom. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
She's being fed. She's being nourished.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to be the one all the time to do that for her.
Yeah.
And that was something for me that I had to switch. Like, I don't have to change every diaper in order to be a good mom. I don't have to put the spoon in her mouth every bite to be a good mom. Or a great mom even.
Yeah.
And so I had to really sit down and say, what is it okay for me to miss?
I love that.
Thankfully, even with working, I haven't missed like a first step or, things like that, which is great because, sometimes that just happens all of a sudden. You're like, wow, I could have been in the bathroom and that happened, like, so,
and it might have too, who knows?
Exactly. Right. And I'm better off. I'm fine not knowing. I will gladly say that was her first step. I saw.
That was the first step I saw. So.
Exactly. So I think the biggest thing that mom entrepreneurs have to overcome is the mom guilt.
Yeah.
Because the juggling, I think that is the base of everything. Because if you can get over the mom guilt, then you can hire someone to clean your house a couple days a week, or like outsource your laundry, or outsource the things that are you the one who has to do that, right? So, or
if you can't afford to do that for whatever reason,
right,
organize it where you're okay with doing it only once or twice a week, right?
Exactly.
Where you're like, it's okay, I'm going to allow this mess to pile up because I just can't get to it.
Exactly.
I mean,
yes.
And especially like in today's, the whole concept, like in any season, mom guilt is there. It just evolves. Exactly. It evolves into other things. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, so I have a 3-month-old, and another round of mom guilt comes of, I'm not spending as much time with my 3-year-old as I'd like to, or, I don't know, just, it's always evolving. So if you don't tackle it and really, I mean, we were talking about mindset, like you have to have the right mindset of saying, why is this important that I'm working? Well, I'm showing my children what hard work looks like. I'm showing my children that they're not the center of my world, although I love them dearly and would die for them. Like, I'm a separate person from being a mom. Like, I'm Kelly. I have my own identity apart from them. And so, it's a lot of mindset.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it's so relevant today because of, we're all still dealing with COVID and the most hot topic right now, and maybe this is not relevant to you actually, is schooling. Like, are kids going to go to school in person, virtual? And it's just coming, like, all these memes are going around now saying, like, if you choose in person, you're still a good mom. Yeah. But listen, they say mom. They're not saying dad. They're not saying uncle and grandparent. They're talking about a mom right there. Why? Because moms have the most guilt. Like, you feel, I mean,
we take the most mental load.
Yeah, we do. And it's like, with this whole quarantine, there's now over the summer, I'm like, oh, we need to be more productive. And I'm just like, again, you have to have grace over yourself, like how you said. And I think grace and mom guilt are just so common in women and moms. And it's so nice that because you've gone through it and you're going through it, you can really help other moms in your business overcome that as they are trying to build their business also. Yeah.
Yeah. And just, we make excuses, not in like we're lazy, but we just make excuses of why we can't do something. And so, of course, I need help with that too, but it's easier for an outside person to look at that and say, no, like, we can figure this out. There is a way to do many things. I believe you can do it all, but not all at the same time. Right. Yeah. So it's like, it comes in phases or seasons. You can do it all, just not all at once. Because if you try to do it all at once, nothing's going to go well.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah, absolutely. And I also believe there's no such thing as balance. Like, whoever talks about balance is like, clearly they've never been a parent, I think. So like, or maybe they have, I don't know. But I don't believe in balance. I believe that there are things that are more important in a certain time, and that you have to do it, and it's the right thing to do. And if that does mean that you allow your child to sit on the carpet and play while you are doing something else, that's okay. Like, because that's what's important at that time, and that's what's right to do at that time.
And in fact, I think it's good. I think it's good, that, kids have to learn how to play on their own for a little bit. It's they learn that independence from you.
Oh yeah.
And which is nice for us. We say, okay, go play, and then I'll come play with you in a little bit, So yeah, there's I think that's why I like working with moms, because we have so many facets that that overlap with our entrepreneurial life that we don't necessarily have an office. I mean, I have an office, but it's not corporate office. Still work at home, especially right now.
I know.
And anyway, so I think having grace for yourself and really battling that mom guilt, feeling it. I mean, I think it's good that we feel it, because it shows that we care. It shows that we care about our children, but it's not reality, what it's saying to us. It's like, you're a great mom. Let's battle this mom guilt saying that you're not a great mom. And work through it. So,
and shift through. And I love how you're like, pick the things that are important, pick the things that you want to do, and the things that you can't do, delegate. And I think that really holds true for an entrepreneur in general.
Oh yeah.
Whether you're a parent or not, if you can pick the stuff that you're good at, like even how you were like, I don't want to do accounting, I suck at it. And so it's like, delegate whatever you can't do, as much as you can delegate, and whatever your financial capacity you have, or until you get there. Because I feel like you have more strength then you can spend more time in the thing that delivers more revenue into your business.
Right. And I saying something with the delegation and the finances of, there's so many free tools and information out there that delegation could even mean delegating your learning. I don't know if that makes sense, but you don't have to figure it out on your own. There's so many resources that can help you get it done without you having to do all the, how do I do this? Okay, someone's already figured out how to do it. Learn from them. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Google. Google. And then you're right. There are a lot of tools we can use, like, for example, Planoly. It's a very nominal fee if you do sign up, but it's also free. And so you can use that to organize your Instagram feed, and I think Pinterest also now. So you can schedule it, and so you're done. But you just have to be diligent about batching your work then, and pushing it out in a timely manner so you can get it done.
One day, if your business is booming and you have the budget for it and you don't want to do it anymore, awesome. Then you can hire someone, and you're giving someone else a job.
There's some amazing tools out there. Another is Trello and Asana. They're great tools just for organizing your own self. And then if you do hire somebody, then having that organization between the two people, or more than that. So those are some amazing tools too.
So Google's our friend.
Google. Oh my God. Google is our friend. We love Google.
Google so much. And then when you can, hopefully when, get the finances, you can hire and make your life even easier. So
so you really talked a lot about mindset and shifting the thoughts and the way we think. So I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into that with you, and any limiting beliefs that you might have had or still have, and how do you shift your mindset, and how do you move forward, because it's tough to move forward.
It is. Oh, that's a good question. I think one of the things that I struggle personally with is the thought that I'm not good enough. So, and that comes with the perfectionism. And I have this, I always joke, I have this idea in my mind of I love drawing, doodling, coloring. I'm artsy in that way. But what's in my mind never comes to reality. So i.e. I hired Kelsey Budo to do my
You did mine too.
Yes.
It's amazing. Yeah.
She's amazing. And I even played around with like doing my own logo and I'm like, no, like nothing is, I have this vision and it's not coming in there. So
yeah.
I think
shout out to Kelsey.
I know. Yay, Kelsey, we love you. And every time she posts, just an aside, every time she posts a new brand, I'm like, ooh, I should rebrand. I love that because everything she does is amazing. It's gorgeous.
She's awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, this thing that I'm not good enough and I don't know where it came from, but it's been a recurring thing that I've had to really work out. And I go to a therapist, I go to a counselor and we work through that because it's in my personal life and my, you know, obviously bleeds into my professional life. And so again, it's about changing your mind and finding out what event happened that made me start thinking that. And how do I attack it to where I look at the event and it's just an event now. There's not that emotional thing attached to it. So it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever be over it, but I think I've made a lot of strides of like, oh, okay, I can do this, you know? And I think it's also surrounding yourself with people like, that's kind of why part of the reason why I started entrepreneurial group is to surround yourself with people who again are outside of yourself and can see you for your gifts and talents and speak into that. Because I think that helps of like, you know, I work with a business coach and she's like, no, you're actually very good at that.
Yeah.
So when you're feeling, you know, for example, I was going through a time where I knew I could help people, but I was very nervous about like pitching and selling. And so she was like, why don't you listen to a song? You love music. Why don't you listen to a song that would pump you up and kind of give you that boost of confidence? I chose Confidence by from Sound of Music. She's like, I have confidence and confidence alone. And I was listening to it and I started laughing because I'm like, this is hilarious that I'm like listening to this to boost my confidence. And just by laughing at myself, like, this is so silly. You're better than this. I wasn't putting myself down, but it was like, you really built this up way more because now that you're in this confidence song, you're like, this is so silly. Like, clearly you were in your head about this a lot because I was listening to it, like, I'm just laughing now. It's not even like, but
it's so cool because it goes back to how you're saying that you are minimizing that event and you're showing how much bigger you are than that and how much more capable you are and qualified you are.
Yes. And, you know, I think even learning, you know, part of the Storybrand framework is calling your customers to action, direct calls to action, saying, you know, having buy now buttons, not just learn more, which is very passive, but like buy now, book a call. And even just learning that was like, you know, the whole thing is if you're not asking people to buy from you, that's showing them that you're not confident in your own product or service. Subconsciously, you know, it's, but you're,
that makes sense though. Yeah.
And it's almost like, you know, going into Banana Republic and it's like, they don't have cash registers out. And it's the kind of the same way. It's like, no, they have cash registers in plain view because they know that you need to give them money and you want to give them money. And so they're like, here they are, come give us our money, you know, come give us your money. So even just learning that practical business advice and part of that framework is like, it's kind of like, hey, you have a great product. You have a great service. You are great in your own right. Like step into that. And then one more thought. I have a lot of thoughts today, apparently.
Well, we got time. Don't you worry.
Good. But one more thought on that is, you know, I think so often women, we want to come off as humble. And so we shy away from saying what we're good at. And what, you know, and I think there's a line, there's a difference between being arrogant and confident, you know. And so again, kind of knowing what you're good at and saying, I am really good at this. This is what I bring to the table.
Yeah.
How can I help you? And hey, I need help in this area and you are really good at that. Why don't you help me? So I think it's knowing the difference between being arrogant and being confident in your abilities is something huge to learn.
I love that. And you're right. Confidence comes through experience, and you can always backtrack and see all the experience you've had and build yourself up that way too. If you forget, look back and see what all you've achieved. And it's probably a lot more than you think you have. So.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you're not just a mom, or you're not just an entrepreneur. Even if you've been in the business only for a year, you've done a lot in that 1 year. You've learned a lot in that 1 year. Yeah. So I completely agree. So I'm so glad you brought up Storybrand, because I really want to talk about that. Yeah. And I want to learn from you, how can somebody use Storybrand to build their business? And at the end, I'm going to ask you your top 3 tips on how to build a Storybrand for yourself.
Yeah.
Or if you have more, you can get more.
Yeah, exactly. So Storybrand, like I said earlier, it's a marketing framework based on the elements of story. So story has compelled the human brain since the beginning of time. I mean, before we had the written word, everything was passed through telling stories.
Yeah.
So our brains are wired to conserve calories and to survive and thrive. So that's what our brain is doing for us. So basically what Storybrand does is it filters your marketing message through the elements of stories, distills it down so that your customers aren't having to burn too many calories, and you're showing them that you can help them survive and thrive, whatever that is. So if that's saving time, that's thriving, right? If that's putting an ointment to get your cut better, that's surviving. So, but then it helps you have a really clear message so that your customers aren't having to think a lot. Because as you know, especially nowadays, we have so many decisions we have to make during the day, whether to look into that advertisement or not, whether to turn left, turn right. I mean, it's like 30,000 decisions a day or something like that. So if you, for instance, are talking too much about the nitty-gritty of your business, let's say years over saying, okay, well, first you need contracts and then litigation and blah, you start throwing out all these law words. Well, us not law-minded people are going to go, too much information, I'm moving on. So I help people get to the basics of what they do. So like yesterday I had a client who I was working with, and she was like, people don't understand what I do, and here's what I do. And, we were going back and forth, and she said, I fix people's business problems.
That's it.
That's what you need to say.
Yeah.
You don't need to say that you do, branded niching and strategic blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Say, I fix your business problems.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So if I'm having a problem with profitability, you help me with that. If I'm having okay, so that's what I do with people. We dumb it down so that it's super clear and to the point. So something that
I love that. Yeah.
The guy who created this framework, he used to be an author, and he started a marketing company, and he was like, I can merge these two together because it makes sense. What
is his name? Can you share that?
Donald Miller. Yeah. So Don always says, and I think it's so true, people don't buy the best products. They buy the products they can understand the quickest.
Right.
The fastest. So
I'm like seeing how I'm applying this to my life.
Exactly. So a great example of this, when Steve Jobs was launching, I believe it was the first Apple computer. Yeah, because that's what he started with. So back in the 80s, I don't know. You can fact check me on that. He put an ad in the New York Times, and it was 8 pages long.
Oh, wow.
And it was talking all about how the computer processed, how fast it was, how much data it held. blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No sales came from that. He was like, okay, we got to change this up.
Yeah.
So he put a 1-page ad, said, think different. Skyrocketed.
Love it.
Skyrocketed sales. It was quick. It got to the people that said, I want to be on the forefront of technology. I want to think differently. And they bought computers. So I think as we see these big brands like Coca-Cola and Walmart who have all this brand recognition, and for some reason we think we have to write all this flowery language and make it sound really important and blah, blah, blah in order for us, for our business to grow. What your customers need is clarity. Clarity is kindness. You're saying, I'm not taking it too much up. I'm not taking too much of your brain power and time. And I'm saying, bam, 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 here's what I do. So I love Storybrand. I've integrated it into my business.
Yeah.
Obviously I use it, that's the framework that I use with anyone that I work with. And I take it very seriously. I'm like, I'm not working with you if you don't use this, because that's how I do it, because I believe it's the best way to grow your business. So,
but I think it's so important what you just said, because I've actually heard the same thing on I was listening to a podcast, and I'm pretty sure that the person who is speaking also has gone through the Storybrand concept, or has at least read the book. And she also was saying the same thing. She goes, if you are cleaning and decluttering someone's home, rather than saying that you're going to organize and streamline and make it productive and efficient in your home, it's like, what does that even mean? And so the minute she's like, this person and this organizer was like, I'm going to get rid of your piles. Boom. That made sense.
That makes sense.
I mean, that was like, how do you resonate with that? Yes, I have piles of books. I have piles of clothes. I have piles. And I was like, boom, it made sense. And you're right. We sometimes overthink everything because we want, and
and another part of this is, I call it like progressive revelation. So you don't have to reveal everything about your business or everything that you can do all at once, right? The point of marketing is to get people hooked in, right? And so that they want to learn more about how you can help solve their problems. So yes, it would be beneficial to know that organizer, makes spaces work better and blah, blah, blah. But in order to hook people in, you need to talk about it very succinctly, easy to understand, no insider language, things like that. But once they get on your website, start getting your emails, then you can start revealing, here are 5 ways that I solve your problems. Here are, here are the benefits that will happen in your life from that.
I love that. So if you had to give somebody like a quick, hey, this is the things, or the areas that you can look at, and this is how you can level up on your Storybrand, what would those tips be?
First, I would say read Building a Storybrand. It'll shift your, and just really, it's great. It's a very practical book. You can start making changes from reading it. It's interactive, because that'll shift your mindset on how you talk about your business. It's not rocket science, but at the same time, it's mind-blowing. Like, this totally makes sense. I need to implement this in my business. So that would be the first thing. Read that. It's on Amazon, on Audible. It's a good read. Second, I would say, make sure your website is functional and is not just a placeholder on the internet. So your website is something you can control. Same with email. Things like TikTok and Instagram. I love Instagram. I'm on there all the time. But things like that, like, there are rumors that TikTok's going to be banned in the US. I'm not sure if that's true, but
well, I don't know about that, but I do know, I mean, it's a rumor and it might as well be true. But I do know that Instagram is coming out with something called Reels. Which is like TikTok comparable.
Oh, okay.
So,
But the whole point of saying that is
Yeah.
like, you don't want to put all your marketing eggs in a
in
social media platform, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So websites and emails are good things to have, you know, because you can control the content and, you know,
And you don't own those social media platforms.
No, you don't.
I mean, you may have that account, but at the end of the day, that account is owned by Instagram or Facebook. You don't own anything.
Yeah, you don't own anything. So with email, you know, you don't own the emails, but people can unsubscribe if they don't want to hear from you anymore.
Yeah.
But you have control over who sees it, when they see it, things like that, which, you know, as we know, Instagram and Facebook, and I don't know how TikTok works, but algorithms don't let you do that. So my thing would be, make sure that your website is acting as part of your sales funnel and not just a placeholder. So having a direct call to action before anyone starts scrolling, tell them how they can buy from you. So I do, I'll just give a little tip. So with the header of your website, answer 3 questions. Before anyone starts scrolling, they should be able to tell what you do, how it will help that person's life, and how to buy. So we'll use the organizational example. I clear your piles, or I get rid of your piles.
Right.
Okay. You could put something like, get rid of clutter, enjoy your space, like basically like 3 benefits. Like, how is this going to help your life? And then book a consultation, or, you know, get a quote or something like that.
Some call to action.
Yeah. Some call to action that's very direct.
Right.
Not like learn more or get started. Get started is a very weird thing.
Okay.
So direct call to action is, think of it as like asking someone out on a date. Will you go on a date with me? Okay.
Yeah.
You don't walk up to someone and say, you want to get started? Like, creepy. Like, you're like, started on what? And please get away from me. So make sure your website header, before anyone starts scrolling, answers those 3 questions, because that's going to get them hooked in. And of course, you know, people may not hit that buy now button, but like I was saying earlier with the cash register, that shows that you're confident in saying, you need this, and I'm showing you, like, click here to get it.
Yeah.
Your cash register on your website. So don't make it hard for people to find the cash register.
Yeah.
So that would be my thing. Read the book, really start implementing it immediately. Make sure your website is more than a placeholder. And then don't talk about yourself.
Oh, okay.
And what I mean by that is, you are not the hero. So your customer is the hero of their own story. Everyone wakes up every morning thinking, what problems do I need to solve for myself today? I'm thirsty, I'm going to go get water. Or I want coffee, I'm going to go to Starbucks or my favorite coffee shop. When you start talking about yourself and only yourself, and people come to you and say, oh, you're a hero too. Awesome. I hope you find what you're looking for. I'm going to go the other way and find someone to help me get my problem solved. So it's a shift. Now, that doesn't mean you can't ever talk about yourself. But what I mean is, for example, I'm going to use the website. So no one cares that you started this thing 10 years ago, and or you inherited it from your grandfather. And so now no one cares about that initially. They may be like, oh, that's so interesting, but they're not coming to your website to learn about the history of your company.
Right.
They're coming to your website to see if you can solve their problems. So positioning yourself as a guide, you show empathy and say, I understand what you're going through. And then authority is, I help business owners like you every day. So it's a way to talk about yourself without being like, hey, look at me. You know, another example I like to give is, those Chevy commercials. I don't know if you've seen them, but they're like, we've won JD Power and Associates.
Oh, yeah. I don't even know what that means.
Like, what the heck is a JD Power and Associates? No one knows what that is.
Yeah.
Now, a way they could shift that is say, I did look it up. It's like a consumer thing. I don't know.
Okay.
A consumer award.
Uh-huh.
What they could say instead of that is, we care about your safety so much that we win awards for how much
I love that. You need to go tell them that.
You're still talking about yourself, but it's in the view of your customer. It's like, we are so adamant that you are safe in your car and the cars that we sell to you, that we receive all these awards.
Yeah.
So you see that kind of shift where you're still talking about yourself, but it's from the perspective of how we're helping our customers.
Right. I love that.
So the third thing would be kind of take an audit and see, are you talking about yourself in a way that's attracting customers, or in a way that's like, oh, great, like,
here's why I'm
with
awesome.
You on your journey.
Yeah.
Like, you're not the one to guide me to what I need to get to.
Yeah.
You know?
I find that so, I'm like literally doing a mental audit of my website right now and of all the stuff that I put out. And I think this is going to be something I'll be working on.
Good.
Really.
Awesome.
That is amazing. I love that.
Good. I'm glad that helps.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of people kind of get tripped up. And again, you can talk about yourself, but no one initially needs to know that you're a lover of mac and cheese or wine. I mean, it's fun on certain things, but don't put that at the forefront of like, I'm this, and this.
Yeah.
You know?
So tell me, I know that we can read the book. Yes. And, you know, I know that there is, I think, a podcast and things like that, but I think you're certified, so you can definitely help somebody as well. Oh, yeah. And you have, you know, you do a retreat also. I know that you do different activities. So anybody can come to you also for this information and guidance.
Yeah. So how it works is, you know, there's the Storybrand company, and they have their own set of workshops, but then they have what they call guides, like what we're talking about, to help you implement these messages. So they're launching a coaching program. So they're launching a coaching program that I'm going to become a coach for that. So,
I love that. Congratulations.
I'm really excited because that's more my passion. The guides are more of the implementation side of if you need your website copy done, they do that. So this is more of still helping with the messaging, but more on the business, how to integrate it into all areas of the business.
Strategy.
Strategy.
I love that.
Much more my lane.
Yeah.
So that's coming in. I'm getting certified in October, and my program will start in January, which I'm super excited about.
I'm so excited.
Yes. And it'll be about a year-long program. I'm still kind of putting the structure together of how I'm going to run it. But it's going to be there's going to be curriculum. So it's very like tangible. Here's what we're working on, which I'm super excited about. So, but then I do have kind of a team of copywriters and web designers that I work with within the Storybrand arena. So what I've been doing with one-on-one clients is they come to me, we get their messaging right, get some strategy, and then I pass it on for implementation. So it's kind of
that's wonderful.
One-stop shop. So a couple of ways that I can help. But I
love it. That is so fun. I cannot wait to see that. I am really looking forward to that. Yeah. So, you know, this is called Law Chat because at the end of the day, I am an attorney and I love to talk about the law.
I love it.
But so you've had massive experience and as an entrepreneur too. If there is something that you were like, man, I wish I had known this in the beginning legally, or maybe legal implementations that you did do in the beginning, you're like, thank God I did them then. So could you share that with us?
So I think starting my business, I wish I had known more about each of the entities that you can create. So whether it's LLC versus S Corp, which I'm an S Corp. Awesome. I still don't really know what that is. I just know that I have to check that box when I like do my taxes and stuff. I just wish I knew more about that, because it is a little daunting when you do get to tax time and there's just a lot of information and it seems to always be changing. So I wish I knew just more about each of those little things.
Yeah.
Contracts. So I know I need help with that. So I will be contacting you. Also your shop, that's going to be so helpful. The templates.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So contracts and just things that, I mean, every time you post something, by the way, like, I did not know that. Like every single time. Like, I didn't know that was needed. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Like basically my extent of knowledge is like, you can't just put people on your email list. Like you
should request it. Be okay with it. Yeah.
Request it. Yeah. That's my extent of law knowledge.
Well, it's good, but it's good business practice. I mean, you can definitely have them there, but the nice thing to do is, hey, you're on this list. If you want to unsubscribe, do it now.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that's probably the thing that's been the most is like what type of business, because even renaming my business, I had to kind of figure out.
I love the name of your business though.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Figuring that out of, you have to search and make sure no one else has that.
Yeah.
Things that are simple and make sense. Like it makes sense that you don't want to have the same company name or even close to it, as someone else. But, just things you don't really think about when you're like, I want to do this now.
Yeah.
You get all excited or like, okay, but there's ramifications to it. So I don't know if that answered your question. But.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of, what I heard is this, that first of all, if you are an S Corp, you should know what that means, right? It's your business. Yeah. And it's like, I feel like this is a common thing though with a lot of entrepreneurs, whether you're in the creative industry or not, you're an entrepreneur. You're doing what your mind is set to do. And everything else is just something that you got to do. It's just, you have to do it because you have to do it, not because you want to do it. And sometimes they fall off the rail, but then they'll come back around again and they'll bite you. So, a lot of times, some clients come to me and they don't necessarily understand what all is encompassing or, what it means to be an LLC or what it means to be a sole proprietor. And so I think it's so important that as entrepreneurs, we have the basics of the law and we understand it so we can effectively move forward and be confident about it also. And so, yes, contracts are needed. You're going to be getting coaching clients and all this stuff. You need contracts. And I think you're right. There's a lot of facets and where legal is necessary and it shouldn't be just a afterthought. Yeah. So, yeah.
Something I just thought of as well is, and I'm learning now from you, in the beginning, I don't consider myself like a hard-nosed person because I'm like, yay, I love people. Let's just all get along and work together. And, and what you've taught me is that having a contract or having, they're boundaries. They're there to protect both you and your client. And so it's not a hard-nosed thing. It's just a good thing to have in case something does go wrong, And so I think, the hesitation just specifically with contracts is I don't want to seem like I'm like, like you better pay me or else, I don't want to come off that way at all. And so having someone like you say, no, we can make it to where it's not, it's not hard-nosed, but it's still protecting both you and your client and just a good thing to have. And I also heard someone say that contracts are for people with bad memories or something like that. It's like, of course you would say that to each other. Okay, we agree. And contracts are just, it's written down. So we both remember. Yeah. We both remember correctly.
You're right. I think contracts, they sometimes people feel that it invokes feelings of distrust. If you say, hey, let's have a contract, or it gives like that, oh, you're already, you're putting this layer of, it's just like this ominous cloud that you're already predicting it to go bad. But the idea is exactly that. I mean, when you and a client talk and you agree on the phone on all that stuff, that's a verbal contract, essentially. It could stand in court. The idea is it's hard to prove. And again, people forget. And then it becomes a he said, she said conversation rather than a this is what happened conversation. And gone are the days where you spit in your hand and you say, okay, this is a contract. And, you have that handshake agreement. And so contracts are so necessary. And plus it helps everybody ease and you can move forward and you know what to expect if something does happen. Right. So I totally agree with you. And thank you for saying that too.
Yeah, no, that's what you really helped me with, is shift it from it's good, it's necessary, and it's not a scary thing. It's not a distrust thing. So thank you for that. So
I love that. It's rare. I love getting feedback. So it's nice to get it, especially from a friend and then also a person in my business circle. So I love that. So now we're going to talk about like a fun facts about you. So what is your favorite book?
Ooh, my favorite book. I loved Redeeming Love.
Oh.
It's by Francine Rivers. It's kind of a fictional story, but it's based on the story of Hosea from the Bible. So
okay,
if
nice.
anyone knows what that is, but I love that. It's just it's a very romantic book, and I've read it 3 times and I've bawled each time. It's just really sweet. It's a good book. So I love that book. Yeah.
And what's your favorite blog or magazine or podcast?
Okay, let's see. Magazine, I love Real Simple. Magazine.
I love them. Yeah.
So they just always have pretty things that it's practical and, fun.
It's real simple. Exactly.
It's real simple. Yeah. Exactly. It's real simple. Podcast. Okay. So torn between, I'm not going to do any business because I always listen to those. I love Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard, Kristen Bell's husband.
Yes.
So he interviews celebrities. He interviews, like doctors and stuff too. But I just think it's interesting hearing different people's stories and how they got to where they are now and things like that. And then I also, this is kind of a business one, but How I Built This with Guy Raz.
I love that podcast.
Similar vein, like seeing how they built what they did, and it's so interesting. So those are the 2 that I love listening to. I think they're so interesting.
Yeah, I love that one too. And then do you have any favorite business tools or apps that you can suggest?
Let me see. One small little thing that I've enjoyed is it's an app called Space, and it spaces out your Instagram posts. Like you can do like paragraphs, and you know how the spacing gets weird on Instagram. You like type it in there how you want it, and then it actually looks that way on Instagram.
Wow.
It's called Space. What else do I love? Loom.
Loom is great.
Loom is great. You can record yourself with your video screen or your computer screen or just your computer screen. Yeah, those are probably my 2 that I like a lot. So
I love that. I didn't know about Space at all. Loom I use pretty often. I use that for my contracts and kind of like going through them, and I create videos for my clients. So So I love talking to you today. I feel like we can still go on.
I know. But I feel like we could go on for like 2 more hours.
I know. And plus we haven't caught up in so long. It's been a minute, like you said earlier.
It's been a minute, right?
But how can the listeners get in touch with you? What can they do to follow you? And if they want to join your course, how do they do that?
Yeah. So I hang out on Instagram a lot. So Bird and Hyssop, BirdandHyssop. So that's my Instagram handle. That's where I am mostly. My website is birdandhyssop.com. If you're interested in the coaching program, I have a wait list. And so there's a little bar at the top of my website that you can click on and sign up to be on the wait list. But yeah, those are the 2 places I hang out most. I'm, working on my email list because cobbler's kids have no shoes. And I'm like, I tell everyone else to have an email list, and I'm still beefing up mine. So
Yeah.
but you can do that all through my website. And yeah.
I love that. So I'll definitely put all the links in the show notes.
Okay.
And that way anybody can reach you. And I'm just so excited to hear more about your coaching and just to see all the ways you grow. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so fun to talk to you.
Likewise, I really enjoyed. Thank you so much for joining Law Chat with Girija. I love these kind of stories and conversations where we can be real, honest, and open, and having fun at the same time. I hope you are inspired and motivated to keep doing the amazing work you are doing. If this is something that gave you all those feels and then some, truly motivated and inspired for you, you can show your love in all or one of these ways. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and share this video with your community and tell them about it, or share it with somebody that can benefit from it. I look forward to seeing you next time on another episode of Law Chat, and until then, keep moving forward. Bye.